Mhm, 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 mhm. Hey, and it's saying we're live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Just Todd Now show with your host Santa. Hey, 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 welcome to Just Todd Now. Boo, boo, boo. Where we combine our mind with our heart, see what our gut mind is saying, connect all those three circles, and let whatever come out just come on out. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful morning, evening, night, midnight, special, whatever time is coming at you. Take this energy, enjoy this atmosphere. Now we can start the conversation. Yeah, and we got two intros. Oh, it's all one big picture. One big picture. I titled this Matters of the Heart. Matters of the Heart. Shout outs to Exile 13, 2 times. Salute, salute. I was putting in the Discord, asking for suggestions on what the next video topic. Turn this fan up. On what the next video topic should be, and he wrote how to follow your heart. So I titled this Matters of the Heart, things that matter to the heart, things that have situations to do with the heart, as opposed to what? You know the Just Tie rhythm saying, because the mind is, your mind, your heart, and your gut mind. Connect all those three circles. What is this thing of the heart? The heart is something, and like physical 3D terms, it pumps the blood all around our body. It keeps the pulse of our body. It has a certain frequency. I think it's 2 hertz. It has a frequency of 2 hertz. And they said the lowest that they ever recorded was 4 hertz. So it actually has a frequency that is outputting all the time. All the time. It's like radiating with the crystalline structure of your bones and having you radiate or vibrate at a certain way, esoterically speaking and physically speaking. So matters of the heart. You know, back in Egyptian days, they put the organs inside the jars, the canoptic jars, said they were important. That's because these organs have feelings, they have emotions, they are centers in our bodies, generators in our bodies that help generate different pieces or a piece of reality, a piece of the puzzle. So the heart, we all know, is a very, very important one. Like we put our hand on our heart. What we used to back in the school days when we used to salute the flag, pledge allegiance to myself. And yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is. And like your heart start pacing when you get into adrenaline situations, stressful situations, heartbreaks. Like people literally die of heartbreaks, like of being so sad that couples that grow up and be together for like 50, 60 years. When one of them transitions, usually the other one transitions about like a matter of 2 weeks, a month later. And then unless it's a different vibe on a different type time. But y'all hear these type stories. And when you depress, it's like your heart is beat too fast or sometimes if you're trying to see if you got a pulse at all. But with the nervousness and anxiety, we are those kind of people are well aware of how the heart changes throughout the day. And how sometimes you probably need to even sit down because your heart beating a little too fast. So why is this so? I don't know. How can we control this? How can we work with this? That's all matters of the heart. Y'all can sound off comments below. I don't have too much time, but I want to make sure that this episode is a solid piece of work, So every contribution will make it, will fill in any crack. Just die. Because the heart is a scary thing. It's doing all these things. It's keeping all these things in order. All these things in order. You even hear of people that's able to control their pulse through breathing. So the heart is very connected to the breath, life, energy, what we bringing in, cycling in through that. I was thinking of the tail biting this the snake biting his tail. I was just the snail biting the tail biting the snake. Hey, it works either way. But yeah, just feeding that energy of the heart. And being able to slow down your pulse race with breathing. I used to practice that. And it's still there. At times, a situation when it's heightened, it feels as though my mind can't take it, and it's like all these thoughts breathing and talking and yipping and yapping and rapping, like literally rapping at each other a million miles a second. The breath connects me back to my heart. to my heart space, my heart chakra. You got the chakras too. The chakra system is green. The heart chakra is green, connected to, I'm looking out at green trees, green grass, things that grow based off of photosynthesis, just grow out what we would call naturally, even though we still have to, like, without human intervention, I would say that it just grows. It's green. It's green. Besides animals too, but y'all get it. Y'all get it. Y'all know I just like to tie on all angles. Keep the jokes alive. Am I too loud? Let's see if this mic going up. Test, test, test. All right, we good. Yeah, the green grows, green heart chakra. Green heart chakra, and keeping that heart space open, having trauma in ways that we viewed the world through, coming up in this world through our own individual souls, and encountering that our heart chakra ain't always buzzing on like 110 sometimes. It's like at 80, 70, some of us like at 40. And people even have heart complications. Like heart disease, heart attacks. Nothing is a coincidence. That is all based on how we're feeling and how much we actually pay attention to our heart, even if we got to get surgery or was thinking in ways that just had our heart beat in different ways, man. It's a lot of heart things. That's why we got pacemakers and stuff, even created in this physical world to keep our heart, like, keep it going. That's how important it is. And as above, so below. As we work here with technology, is no separation really from the emotions and what's really going on. Because what's physical, what is real, what is not real, your experience, to me, whatever you're experiencing at the moment is real, and it's going to be tied in to emotions, because it was already created what you're already seeing in front of you. Case in point, case in point, our emotions. You feel something, and then I believe it goes through your center of thinking about how it should operate. How should you work on this feeling? And then that in turns is how we see everything. But our heart is so powerful, it can overpower what we're thinking. So sometimes something can be so beautiful right in front of us, but we're still thinking that it's not. But our heart is just going to create it anyway. It's just, we got different minds going on. It's a heart mind, gut mind, brain mind. And our brain mind is thinking all this other shit, while our heart mind is just doing what it does all the time. But it's centering ourselves and seeing who we are, so we can really see what we fucking create in the first place. It can look like a prison. It can look like a trap. Or it can look like an escape room. And some people love escape rooms. Like, this was just designed for me to do this. Or I'm just going to sit here and take in and look around because looks pretty cool. This looks pretty cool how they set this up with the light, and I'm really enjoying this. Because the matters of the heart. You ever fall in love? I know a lot of y'all fell in love. It's been scientifically proven that when you fall in love, your prefrontal cortex, in those moments of decision making, and hyper moments and stuff, your prefrontal cortex, which governs your decision making, or as scientists, I've never done it before, when they put you under an MRI machine and they do certain studies under certain conditions and experiences, your prefrontal cortex is not as active anymore when you're feeling those feelings of love and things like that. We know about the prefrontal cortex, even if we go down evolutionary terms and stuff, how it developed after the reptile stem in the back. And then it was like one of the last parts of the brain to develop, and we contribute that to the reasoning side of us, as opposed to the matters of the heart. And don't forget about the gut. So that literally has all these things thinking, second guessing ourselves. Where do you think your first thought comes from? Your first thought comes from the heart. That God talk. When I'm starting to hear God, or I'm starting to hear like this extra tiny voice in the back of my head beyond all the commotion and everything. If we want to put a story to this, it's all a story. This is just tainow story. Let's go your heart. Hey, King guys. Welcome. Thanks for coming on through. Talking about the matters of the heart. Hold on, dude. Yeah, when you in love and stuff, your prefrontal cortex start to actually shut down. And then you gotta, and then depending on what type of relationship you in or what type of situation you in, you gotta start seeing what's going on with it, because it still has to do with what we are here on earth for. But that's what I learned through the mushrooms, how to operate. Because I would just let my mind go loose and be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. I know my heart usually has me going in these directions, but yo, fuck that right now. I'm feeling like this or this and that. So the mushrooms was having me, 'cause for a long time I was just in that mode because I was thinking a lot. I wanted to be I was in my scientist mode, my atheist type mode, and still thinking I had to figure everything out. Everything had to be figured out. So that's what I was doing. And the heart was just like, man, that's going to get me destroyed. Like I was in the rap music, hip hop, the rap music on a whole level. And I really enjoy it because it allowed me to see that the heart is cold as well. The heart is warm and the heart is cold. For those who just like try to go and say the heart is just going to paint the most beautiful, prettiest things, is also going to paint the ugliest things as well. But the ugly is still beauty. Ugly means just to be resentful or just something that's dreadful in the moment. It doesn't mean it's not beauty. Like I did that thing, The Ugly Truth, and they was talking about the dogs. They got the ugly dog competition where people found the beauty in the ugliest so-called dogs. It's just a standard. And that's where I appreciate rap music too. When we talking about matters of the heart, is because they allow me to see the cold side of the heart. Like, you know, it's all in like ice in my veins, sheesh, and all that things. And Future and being brokenhearted, putting yourself out there for women in certain cases, and because you got to get the money and the guap, and people come at you in certain ways, and you got to keep a certain attitude, got certain principles about life that can't fail if you want to go with certain goals. So everybody has to be looked at in a certain type personality, like, oh, that's that bitch over there, that's my bottom bitch over there, oh, that's my main nigga, that's my OG over there, and just keeping things in that vibe. Dang, that thing just all yeah. With rap music and stuff, you start seeing like the human experience that I was born into, something that you can't deny. And for a lot of depression, and when I was growing up, when I actually was depressed in the hood and growing up in the projects and stuff, it was because I was denying too what was actually in front of me. I was like, no, this is not the way. Like, this is not the way at all. Like, these people are just crazy, and I'm crazy for even feeling like I need to participate in these kind of things. But that's what my heart was feeling, because it was hurt at the time. The heart gets hurt. And then when the mind gets involved in the programmed ways of dealing with it, and because how we see based off of our environment, who we grew up around, who was talking to us thinking they was giving us good advice to help us get to the next moment, and just start working on that and start hanging out with people in the hood and just simulate to survive. Until then, you kick into this extra gear. Actually, especially when I first started doing psychedelics, it allowed my mind to reset and look at everything that was going on, because I was still everywhere. I still had the old, like, just talking about being back in the project, I had the OGs still around me because they was looking out for me and didn't want me to get hurt and stuff. So I would hang out with them from time to time and show me the ropes for a couple like years. I grew up there, so. And then I would still go down to skateboard and go downtown to Center City and stuff like that, and escape and just have as much fun and entertainment as I can with meeting new people in different types of mind states coming from different parts of the city, not just North Philly, but Southwest, South, I was about to say West Philly. Yeah, all them type times. So it was interesting seeing how my heart was assimilating and feeling in all those situations. Because then, because you really don't really know how your heart is feeling until after the fact, until what your heart created, until like after the fact. Like, I think when you really tap in nowadays, the heart gives the vision. The heart gives the vision. The heart is the the heart, I would say, is like a perpetual motion machine. It's running off its own energy. And then the mind taps into that energy, the gut, the heart, the brain mind, and the gut mind, depending on how it's feeling. Because, it deals with how you got a whole biome down there, a whole biome based off of bacteria, healthy bacteria, bad bacteria. And it's all connected to the vagus nerve that goes straight up your body, connected to your brain stem and stuff like that. So how you feel is a whole system. It's a whole fantastic system. Dealing with the matters of the heart, it gets scary. And that's why I see why people like movies and like seeing people in dangerous situations, or people that grew up without as much privilege as they had growing up, because their heart was feeling like it was conflicted to what they was thinking. Like when you grow up kind of like in American society, what we call privilege. Hey, infinite love, woo-woo! Privilege, or have the things like your mom and dad set things up for you, like kind of nice. Like my little cousin Erin, she was real, like, compared to the rest of the family and cousins, was privileged. Like both her mom and dad was lawyers, and they really made sure that she had a kind of lifestyle where she had opportunity at a young age to get into different activities without struggle. Like, oh no, we gotta save up for this. Oh man, we can't do that this summer. We gotta wait till next summer or until the fall time when we can hook up with this program that's gonna allow us to pay for it and stuff like that. You know how welfare life is. Luckily, I had the opportunity to live with him for 3 years. He took me under in high school and stuff like that. But that's another story. But it allows you, and I'm doing this for my daughter too. I'm allowing her to have different opportunities. But it's allowing her heart to be able to simulate with her mind a lot more, so that things that she's feeling, she's actually thinking about, and she's not just thinking about all this other bullshit or all these other distractions. Like, she's hyper excited about things that she feels. Her imagination is allowed to exist as be. And still some can't help it, still got the dad and stuff that pop up like, hey, this is living these 4 walls for a bit. Or I'll give you 3 walls. Just turn around and you create that other wall. You create the 4th wall, or decorate it. I built the foundation. Like, you could decorate it, learn how to go to Home Depot, bring in some new lights and stuff like that. That still happens from time to time. Overall, her heart is allowed to exist. And it shows in situations of when you see an adult probably handle the same situation, they'll keep quiet about it, like, oh, this is a situation I'm not supposed to deal with. Like, probably if me or her mom getting into a little something, it's like she'll be like, oh wait, like, come on, we don't need to be doing this right now, or something like that, instead of like, oh, I just don't know what to do. This is like, her heart is saying what she's supposed to do. She tells me all the time that I know what I'm supposed to do, like in certain situations. Like, she receives the vision, and then I'll be seeing her moving with it. And growing up, she used to talk about how her body is doing things. Like, oh, I can't help, my body is doing this. She's just like, go shake her arm and stuff. Or my body just wants to do this, or my body just wants to stay up. Like, she talks in those type of terms. Like, oh, I can't help, I'm just feeling like this. And I just be talking with her and stuff like, oh, that's how you feeling, or not just like, yeah, all right. Like, it's normal. Like, oh, you expressing yourself at this level, it always happens. Like, no, wow, thank you for being a being that exists on this high vibe of a level. What I mean by high vibe, like, your heart is prominent in the experience. And I think that's where innocence come from. And a lot of adults, as we grow up, look for that innocence. And that's where a lot of people and they matters of the heart get things conflicted and fucked up when I was, for some reason, going at the little kids popped in my mind. And people trying to be attracted to innocence and stuff like that because of the fucked up shit that happened in their life, and how they can't get it, and how they chose to get it together. Because they can get it together. They chose to get it together like that. And try to be around that spirit. Because something we all really, truly want, to be around something that seems like it's more connected to a source than us. It's just wild and conflated. It's wild and conflated in this world. And that's why being our own antenna, being our own generator, and going into the matters of the heart, knowing it's a scary thing, it's going to have us thinking in ways, operating in ways that seem scary because you're going to be going off of a dream. Like, oh man, I just believe I can be an artist. I just know I can be an artist in any form or fashion, drawing, music, making videos, talking, doing conferences, being like, I think even scientists are a type of artist. But still, that's on the higher level of science, when you start dealing with the abstract geometries and calculus fields, not just really learning what other people did and just regurgitating it and stuff like that. But the people that's creating the mathematics for the whole universities to ponder over and work with in the first place, that's an art right there. That's an art right there. And enjoying ourselves and the different personalities that we exhibit. Like, what is our mind state? Enjoying our mind state means, I think, enjoying the fluidness of our mind state. And like I said, as we grow up, we see these things. Like, teenagers seem like, oh, this is how I always am. You know, a lot of teenagers get that vibe. This is who I am. So if I'm sad, man, I always been sad. Everything relating in my life relates to this moment in sadness. But as you grow up, or as you have more experience, you say, oh, that sadness is attached to just this particular experience, and I dragged it on to all of this other shit. Because I was taught that. Or I was taught that and decided to keep it up. Because, a lot of people, they taught things and they don't give a shit about what they taught. And that's another matter of the heart. Like, in saying with the mind and people talking to you, still going with it. Like in school, I was listening, taking in, regurgitating. And I still had my little wild side. I was friends with all the bullies and the nerds. That was my type of personality. I still listen, but it was always people that just never listen. And they was my best friends, because I was like, yo, I get it, but I don't get it, because I listen to my grandmom all the time. But that spirit is something admirable and something that's part of my journey. And I think people that tune into this channel in life, being definite about what you feel, even in the face of information that seems so structured, so widespread by respectful people in your particular environment. Like they said it must be true. They live in it like that, it must be true. Not knowing the heart changes. It feels like this sometimes, it feels like that sometimes. It have you acting like dad in one moment, have you feeling like a rolling stone on the other moment. Like, I just can't think of my family at this moment. I gotta do this. Or I know my family over there. I gotta be over here for like 2 weeks, handle this business, and overall is going to shine back and reflect back on like I was taking care of my family the whole time, which I was. I'm thinking about tour life and stuff for some reason. That's how it is on tours or in businesses. Because it can have you separating. Like I mentioned before, matters of the heart. With the breaking of the heart, some old folks married for 60, 50 years. When one person transitions, other person usually transitions a little bit afterwards. But I believe that the heart creates things for us to actually be used to. For us. For like another part of us to be used to train our mind. Like the monkey mind, as we will put sometimes. The thing that's just, ooh, ooh, ah, ah. Like, oh, I see that you doing this over there. Let me do it too. Like the heart is a experience engine. It's throwing out all these different experiences for you to feel. And you think you can control things about it all the time. But really, you just gotta go with it. Gotta assimilate your thinking to it and have the gut. Yeah, that fire chakra, the solar plexus, to keep that engine alive, to keep that fire going no matter what. If you're feeling sad, if you're feeling happy, manic, depressed, dissociated, in the zone, in the moment, get the furnace burning. And that fire can come. I was just thinking, you bring that fire down from Prometheus. You know, the Prometheus in the Greek mythology, he stole the fire from the gods and taught it to human beings so they can have the knowledge of the gods and how things work on a higher plane, on a higher dimension. That's the fire we gotta have in our belly. Not this weak ass fire they try to keep us lit with likes, with quick, with like things that really don't carry on to the next moment. Things that just to get you that quick dopamine hit for the moment, keep you in a certain state of mind so that they can keep, as True Life was saying, that awesome late night live stream, just keep on feeding you little bit of teaspoons at a time while they sitting there with the whole shebanga bang, and they can easily just give it to you. They're like, wait, give them this. Hold up, 1 week. All right, there you go. Not switch. Let's give him bottom bar. Give him a cornerstone. It's a nice experience. It's a nice experience being a human being. But yeah, that fire, that eternal fire, that ethereal fire, I think is the esoteric term. That everlasting burning fire. You could touch it. It won't even burn your flesh. It'll probably inspire your flesh to move into a different, like, atomic structures. Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't have the properties of the one that's here that just burns you. Like, oh, you see fire, that means you about to get hurt. Not you about to grow. Not you about to be purified. I think gold is made and different gems, and even when, in order to get certain metals to bond together, it has to be heated. In order for some alchemical processes for the molecular atoms to bond, for the atoms to bond on a molecular level, it has to reach a certain temperature in the first place. That's why I can't just grab the lighter and start soldering a submarine underwater. When I first heard about that job, I thought that's a cool job, soldering machines underwater and stuff like that. Here got my torch right here. I had a torch for a whole year, random fact. It was so much better than any other lighter, but it finally gave out on me. My dab life people know what I mean. Yeah. It's a good thing. It's a cool thing. It's a fantastic thing. Matters of the heart. Matters of the heart. Because another thing the matters of the heart will have you do when you really get into it, the matters of it is it will have you crying. It will have you feeling tears. And tears are magical things. I remember reading in a lot of sources, when I was reading about witches and spells and stuff more prominently back then, instead of making up my own. Now I remix a lot of what I learned. When I be going off the rip, I'm really remixing a lot of things that I ran across in my life. They used to talk about collecting tears in bottles and then using those in spells and rituals in the future and stuff, because it was so much emotion in the first place. Emotion causes tears. You can't just think about it. It's like, I'm gonna start crying right now. Cry. That's what y'all say, it don't work. I was talking before to somebody about how I admire actors that are able to cry on cue, have that tear drop at the right moment. Their emotions is on the surface, and they working with that. They probably visualize something and really get developed in it, and they in a whole nother world of existence while they seem like they just in front of the cameras in that one moment. So tears are something that is really prominent, powerful. Letting that flow through. letting your heart flow through. Because sometimes the fire in your belly, when you get that fire going, I was thinking of the heart being like water and creating steam, and then it started coming out of your tears and stuff like that. And then sometimes we try to hold it in, we try to hold it back. That's like holding back a lot of pressure, like holding back so much pressure. Like imagine this bottle or can or something. No, better yet, this aerosol can that shouldn't be near heat because it would explode when exposed to. I was trying to get the exact temperature. When exposed to high heat, contacts under pressure. Avoid prolonged exposure to sunlight or heat from radiator, stove, hot water, and other heat source. Burn above stove above 120 degrees. So 120 degrees Fahrenheit. If this knob don't come off, if it can't release, I almost sprayed myself just now because there's glue on here and it shot out the side. Let me take that off for future references. I almost shot glue on my eye live. But yeah. If it can't be released, it's going to build up some pressure and it's going to literally explode. It's going to explode on you. And then that's when you're going to need therapy, even though therapy is always still good regardless. This is therapy right now, a form of therapy. That's not one-on-one though. But yeah. The tears need to come down. Even like when you sweat, and I know some people don't like to sweat, so they don't do too much. That sweat needs to come out. Sweat is healthy. Sweat is good for you. It calms you down, it cools down, it's releasing toxins from your body as you go along. So stopping all these emotions from coming out, these experiences from actually happening in your mind, is stopping your true power. It's stopping your flow. It's stopping you from doing what you really want to do. What you really want to do. Probably covered up with something else. Was that what you really want to do in that moment? How you really feel? I know how a mask look. I got even the mask right here is a mask. I just learned how to express it as I've shed back so many layers that this is what's going to be presented. If I take back this mask, I'll just be a fucking ghost. I'll just be a ghost. I gotta put on something. But most people got layer on top of layer. I grew up watching Slipknot, so I know exactly how a physical mask can be representation of a huge emotional barrier wall mask. That's like, yo, you don't get nothing of how I'ma feel, and I'ma present something the complete opposite on how I feel to confuse you, just to fuck with you. Make you think that I'm in this whole other type zone, which I am, but I'm really hurt on the inside. Hurt, and my thoughts is smart and calculated, and they really like, yo, I felt like this and was hurt at this moment. Then I was still following, and then I got hurt on that moment. Or I thought about things wrong on that moment. Or all these people lied to me on that moment. I really had my heart with them. So we put up a whole mask. And that mask come in personalities. Like I was saying, coming up with different things to put in front of you. So you probably assimilate on the personality from your favorite song, your favorite movie, your favorite antichrist figure in the world, your favorite anti-hero in the world. You'll start just living out that vibe. Like, I'm the hero, but I'm the anti-hero. The protagonist of my own story. And then most times start fucking up your own life. Or doing things that when you do take 4 steps, you take 3 steps back. And you just like, every time I do something, the universe just take it away from me. Universe is always out to get me. I'm out of water. Yeah. But it's all good. It's all good. And how we are on the Thai side, if you're tied into this channel, we all good. We experiencing all these things. Like I said, if y'all have these experiences too, tie off, sound off below. And if you watching this in the future, you can always write that in the comments too. Because the heart matters of the heart is always a continuation, a continuing story. Next time on Dragon Ball Z, or next week on your favorite insert favorite show here. Gonna keep on going. Gonna keep on going. The positive vibes with mushrooms and how they allow me to tap into something that's outside of the confusion is something of not even a miracle anymore, or it's in terms of, it's not even a miracle. It's something that's just innate. It's an innate ability. And talking about myself now, it's an innate ability that I'm able to realize now, and in certain matters, really, really be like, this is it. This is it. It is what it is. I'm a smile in this moment. Who's smiling with me? Let's build. Let's continue on this journey. This is Santai. I'm going to tie on out of here. This has been Just Tie Now. Just think about all of these things. Combine your mind with your heart. See what your gut mind is saying. Connect all those 3 circles and let whatever come out, come on out. And don't forget to take a bite out of life. Just think about it. Just tie. What? I almost was smooth with it. Just tie now. Much life forever. Adios. Thank you all for coming through. Goldie Vibes, Infinite Love, and King Eyes.